Please subscribe my channel. I attended my wife's company holiday party with one main purpose, to find out the truth. For months, things had seemed off. She stayed late at work, took phone calls in private, and acted distant, always blaming it on job pressure. I didn't want to accuse her without evidence. So I borrowed a suit from a coworker, stayed back, and mixed into the crowd like a stranger. The room was full of laughter and music, glasses clinking, and employees relaxing in ways they never did at the office. I looked around the room, my heart racing, ready to spot her standing too close to another man or see a touch that shouldn't be there. That's what I braced myself for. I told myself I could deal with an affair. At least that would be straightforward and obvious. What I wasn't ready for was learning something much more hurtful than physical cheating. Something that couldn't be excused as a weak moment, but showed how she really viewed me when she believed I couldn't hear. I spotted her near a group of coworkers, holding a drink and smiling freely. She seemed relaxed and sure of herself, like the version of her I hadn't seen at home for a long time. I stood close enough to listen without drawing attention, acting like I was checking my phone. At first, the talk was light, griping about deadlines and joking about the bosses. Then someone asked about her husband. I held my breath. This was the moment. I expected to hear about another guy. She laughed softly and said, "Oh, he's so predictable." The word hurt, but I didn't move. Another person teased that she must get bored at home. She didn't argue. Instead, she said something even worse. She admitted she felt smaller around me, like she had moved past the life she had settled into. The group nodded as if they understood. No one spoke up for me. Right then, I knew I wasn't hearing gossip. I was hearing my marriage fall apart, one sentence at a time. She described our life together as a compromise she had been pushed into, not a decision she had made happily. She called me kind, reliable, and safe, then added, "But being safe isn't the same as being happy." Those words struck deeper than any admission of an affair ever could. Affairs can stop. People can feel sorry afterward, but contempt changes everything. It rewrites the past. She joked that I wouldn't get her goals, that I preferred to keep things simple, as if that made me less. The others chuckled kindly. Someone said she deserved better. She didn't argue with them. Standing there unseen, I felt something inside me break without a sound. I had prepared for betrayal of the body. What I heard was betrayal of respect. I understood then that even if she had never been with another man, she had already checked out of our marriage in her heart. That kind of distance doesn't appear in texts or hotel bills. It shows up in casual chats and laughs shared at your expense. I left before the talk ended, my hands trembling a bit as I stepped outside for fresh air. The night felt colder than usual. I leaned against the wall, going over her words in my head, trying to tell myself I had heard wrong. But there was no mistake. She wasn't just letting off steam. She was putting on a show, building a version of herself that required making me look small. That truth hurt more than jealousy. Cheating would mean she wanted something different. This meant she felt embarrassed by what she already had. I thought about all the times I had quietly supported her, cheered her successes without wanting praise, and changed my own plans to give room for hers. None of that counted in that room. I wasn't her partner. I was her limit. The hardest part was knowing she had never said those things to my face. She didn't have to. In her mind, I was already gone. I didn't confront her that night. I went home early, sat in the quiet living room, and waited. When she came in later, happy and energetic, she chatted about the party like it had been innocent fun. I listened and nodded, hearing everything in a new way. When she finally asked why I was so quiet, I told her I already knew. She gave a nervous laugh and asked what I meant. I repeated her words back to her. Predictable, safe, outgrown. Her expression changed right away. Shock, then fear, then anger. She accused me of sneaking around and violating her privacy, but she never said the words weren't true. That's when it hit me. People only get mad like that when the truth comes out. I told her I could forgive errors. What I couldn't forgive was being talked about with disrespect, treated like a problem instead of a teammate. Silence hung in the air where her explanation started but never finished. She tried to say she was just venting, that everyone stretches the truth at work parties, that it didn't really matter. But words said when someone feels comfortable tell more than words said during a fight. I told her that cheating would have caused pain, but hearing her treat our life like a weight hurt worse. An affair would break trust. This broke my dignity. I asked her when she had stopped seeing me as someone worth standing up for. She had no answer. That night, I slept in the guest room, not out of anger, but because I needed space from a truth that had changed everything forever. Love can survive mistakes. It struggles to survive contempt. And once you hear how your partner talks about you when they think you're not around, you can't forget it. The disguise came off, but the truth remained. The days after were filled with deep thinking. We spoke carefully and openly, but something basic had shifted. I saw that I had been the only one guarding the image of our marriage. She had already changed the story in places I wasn't welcome. Friends later asked if I had caught her cheating. I said no, and that what I found was worse. Cheating can be a spur-of-the-moment thing. Disrespect is on purpose. It's repeated. It becomes normal. I started to realize that in her mind, I had become optional long before that party. No costume could cover a truth once it was said aloud. I didn't make quick choices. I let the clear picture settle in. Sometimes the hardest truths don't come from secret actions, but from open words said when the person thinks you'll never know. I went to that party looking for proof of an affair. What I got was proof of something much worse. A loss of respect that no sorry could quickly fix. Hearing her talk about me that way changed how I viewed everything, our past, our now, and what our future could truly be. Love isn't only about staying faithful when someone is looking. It's about how you speak of your partner when they're not there. That night showed me that betrayal doesn't always need another person. Sometimes it's the quiet choice to stop cherishing the one you already have. The disguise let me see the truth plainly, but it was her words that shattered the dream.